Hello, wonderful ninth graders, and welcome to your second lesson. Throughout the year, your goal is going to be to improve your comprehension and improve your reading. And you're going to be asked to dig really deep into some texts and understand them, but we have to first start with learning how to understand texts. So what we're going to be working on in the next few lessons is just basic strategies to help you as readers grow your reading and your confidence and your ability to read. So today's lesson, we're going to practice comprehending complex texts. As you guys know as ninth graders, some texts you pick up and you're like, I don't understand a word of this. It might be your social studies textbook, the current English book, your math textbook, etc. So my goal is to introduce to you 3 strategies in the next few lessons to help you with this task. Today's lesson is going to be just on one of the strategies, and the strategy is called multi-draft reading. Multi-draft reading is when good readers have a habit of revisiting texts in order to comprehend them completely. So as a reader myself, I might read something the first time. Very seldom do I take everything away from it that I need to take away. So I'll have to read it a second time. I might get a little more information the second time. Still a little foggy, I might read it a third time, and then I know, hey, I think I've grasped the content in this text. I know it sounds like a lot for you guys, especially those of you who don't like to read, but it's really a good way to practice, and every time you read it, you'll pick up something different and dig a little bit deeper so that you can comprehend more completely. So the first reading, when you read something the first time, you're just getting a basic meaning. And a lot of you guys stop here. So this is why sometimes you're very confused with reading. You can't just stop by reading something the first time. So the first reading is just to gain a basic meaning of what's going on in the text. If it's a narrative text, like a fiction book or a novel that you've been assigned, you're going to look for story basics, like your characters. Who's doing what is the action that they're doing, kind of figure out and get a feel for what's going on. If it's a nonfiction text, like your biology, any of your science stuff, any of your math stuff, your social studies stuff, you might want to look for main ideas. Okay, what's going on in this text in terms of people who are involved in what events, or for biology, cells do what. Okay, apply it to the particular content. Third, if you're reading poetry, which you guys are going to be doing quite a bit of this year, you're going to read to see who the speaker is. That's the main thing in poetry, is to see who the speaker is and the setting. Okay, those are your hints there for the first reading. Your second reading should focus on the writing, the effectiveness of the writing. I want you guys to look at how the text is structured. Is it in poem format? Does it have paragraphs? Why did the author choose this format to make his or her message to me? Then I want you to look at the author's language. This is where those literary devices, similes, metaphors, alliteration, personification, this is when all of this comes to play. Are there literary devices? Because we know the authors do those on purpose. What words are chosen? If it's an informational text, why did the author choose the word he or she chose? He could have used another word. Why the power of that particular word? Okay? So that's the second reading. You're going to look at the writing. So let's review. The first reading is just basic understanding what's going on in the text. And the second reading is to focus on the writing. Okay? The specific text structure and the language of the author. You've got a pretty good idea at this point if you've already read the text twice. Let's dig even deeper and go third time. The third time is when you start to compare and make connections to your text. You compare and contrast the text that you're reading with others you've read. You want to think about text with the same format or theme. So if you're reading poetry, think about other poems that might have a similar message or similar format. If you're talking about theme, I read Hunger Games. As many of you know, my favorite trilogy is Hunger Games. But I also read The Giver. I know a lot of you guys have read both of those. How are they similar? Well, I started to make in my head, I said, well, they were both about a post-apocalyptic world. So how are they similar in this post-apocalyptic setting, and how are they different? What about the characters being similar? Different. What about the message of the novel or the theme being similar or different? Start to compare text. That's really high level, and that's your goal. That's what we want you guys to do to show that you get a text. Think about the theme or central idea is basic. Central idea, of course, comes with informational text. If you read an article in social studies about World War II, and then you read a book in literature in my class about World War II, how are they similar? How are they different? How is their structure different? One more informational, one more for pleasure? You guys start to compare text. That's really high-level reading. So let's review one more time. First reading, gain a basic meaning. Second reading, focus on the effectiveness of the writing, the text structure, and the author's language. And your third reading, you're going to compare and contrast the texts with others. If you guys can get to this point, bravo. That is solid, solid reading. And of course, the more you practice these 3 steps, I might be able to read a book the first time and go, oh, I'm already here. So the more you practice this strategy, the faster you'll get with it, and the deeper your reading will become. You guys will notice your reading will improve astronomically as you practice this strategy. So your homework tonight to show me that you understand this is to take this poem. I've already given you, it's a poem, this text piece by Margaret Walker. I want you to read the text and then complete the chart that is assigned to you for homework. It's going to ask you to do a first reading, and you're going to put in my understanding what you understand, using the strategy I just taught you. Do a second reading, look for deeper meanings, structures, and language. And then a third reading, connect to other texts. So you're going to use one text, complete the worksheet that's under this assignment, and submit it to me. I'm going to know how you completed this, whether or not you were successful or you need more help with the strategy. I'll provide you guys some feedback that hopefully will be valuable and we can move on. But this is one strategy that we're going to employ throughout the quarter, throughout the year, and you're going to get stronger and stronger with practice. If you guys have questions, let me know. Happy reading. Enjoy, guys.